Provide all them information to you.
Well, let me ask you this. I want you to talk to her. What if she told me that you beat the piss out of her and you jumped on top of her and started punching her in the face? Should I just go ahead and take that as...
but don't you know...
It's your side of the story. Give your side.
Just talking to her, though. With the information that she gave you, can't she tell you...
You want me to just take everything she says?
I'm not from here.
Okay, but you want me to just take everything she says as fact?
All I'm just saying is I'm not from here. I don't know her exact address.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying.
If my mind gets ruined, my life is ruined, because then you can't think, you can't do things, you don't know what the fuck you're doing in life. It's like literally everything is the quality of your ability to think. And I knew that I was putting that in jeopardy.
Victim's identity will not be released in accordance with Marcy's law. On October 29, 2025, at approximately 2:15 p.m., the victim entered the Miami Gardens Police Department accompanied by her attorney to report an incident.
So, Joe Rogan just watched the leaked body cam footage, and he's calling it absolutely shocking. He thinks Gervonta Davis needs to seriously work on himself when he gets out. Not just his discipline, but his whole mindset.
And that you can overcome all those feelings of weakness that are inside of you.
Yeah, and it acts as like a forcing mechanism for discipline.
Yeah.
And to work through that.
Tank Davis is now dealing with police heat after his victim pressed charges. The authorities are all over this. The media won't leave it alone, and everyone's watching to see what happens next.
What do you mean, what do I mean?
I had somebody I have a driver that would take out where
Get him over here then. If you're gonna kick someone out of your house,
sir, you don't have to.
I don't have to, I'm sorry. I don't have to do what?
Bravo, 17 miles exiting.
Put your hands on her?
No, I did not. Of course she's gonna tell you if she... Okay,
did?
well,
I'm
why
just
did you ask
asking
me that? Why did you ask me
Because that's my job, my man. That's my job.
Here's what Rogan really thinks, though. He says Gervonta should find something he actually cares about and gets fired up for, because right now it looks like Tank has completely lost his love for boxing.
Finding a pursuit or a passion or something you truly love that's engaging and challenging, that is exciting for you, and it advances you as a person. And the lessons that you learn in pursuing that thing, you apply to everything in your life.
Everything in life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything in life.
Miami Gardens police just put out word that they're hunting for Gervonta Davis. They've teamed up with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force because of charges that include false imprisonment, battery, and attempted kidnapping, all involving his ex-girlfriend.
Accompanied by her attorney to report an incident that occurred on October 27, 2025. According to the victim's statement, at approximately 4:15 a.m. while working, the victim was approached by Mr. Davis. The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other. He forcefully escorted her down a stairway and toward the parking garage while maintaining his grip on the back of her head. Upon reaching the parking garage, the victim reported that Mr. Davis released her, at which point she was able to run towards her co-workers for safety. The victim further reported that she has known Mr. Davis since 2022, and they were previously involved in an intimate relationship for approximately 5 months, which ended about a month prior to the incident. Lead detective Gary Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement. As a result of the diligent and hard work of our Special Victims Unit, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Bryant Davis on the following charges: battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. The investigation determined that Mr. Davis used force to restrain and attempt to remove the victim from the location against her will. At this time, the Miami Gardens Police Department is actively working with the United States Marshals Fugitive Task Force to locate and apprehend Mr. Davis.
Hassan dropped this on X, and it's getting attention. Police are saying they've got video evidence showing Gervonta Davis attacking his ex-girlfriend, and now they're moving to arrest him. The authorities are deep into their investigation right now. Law enforcement has been actively hunting for Gervonta Davis after these assault allegations surfaced, and they're reviewing all the evidence as they work to bring him in.
Is wanted by Miami Gardens police. Davis is accused of attacking a woman who works at a gentleman's club back in October. She says he left her battered and bruised. Police are not releasing the name of the woman or the club. They did say the pair had dated in the past. Now, there is a warrant out for his arrest.
The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other.
Last month, 3 months before this incident, he was accused of assaulting the mother of his children in an episode that allegedly happened on Father's Day. Several previous charges were dropped when the alleged victims, though, did not cooperate.
FN Boxing just broke this on X. There's an arrest warrant out for WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis. ESPN is reporting the warrant comes from a domestic violence incident that went down in October. The charges are serious: false imprisonment, battery, and attempted kidnapping. Miami Gardens police confirmed they're working with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to track down Davis. The manhunt is still ongoing. Legal analysts are calling this a rapidly escalating situation involving Gervonta "Tank" Davis, with major legal consequences hanging in the balance. Based on law enforcement reports and court filings, an arrest warrant was issued connected to an alleged domestic violence incident that supposedly happened in October in Miami Gardens, Florida. Investigators say the incident went down at a gentleman's club where the alleged victim worked. The charges on the warrant include battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping, all extremely serious accusations according to legal experts. What's caught everyone's attention is that Davis hasn't turned himself in, which has clearly influenced how authorities are approaching this case. Legal analysts say this explains why Miami Gardens police confirmed they're now collaborating with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to find him. This move isn't standard procedure, and typically happens when law enforcement thinks a suspect might be hard to locate or is actively dodging contact, indicating the investigation has entered a more intensive phase.
Davis, also known as Tank. The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other. He forcefully escorted her down a stairway and toward the parking garage while maintaining his grip on the back of her head. The victim further reported they were previously involved in an intimate relationship for approximately 5 months. Lead detective Gary Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement. As a result of the diligent and hard work of our Special Victims Unit, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Bryant Davis on the following charges: battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. The investigation determined that Mr. Davis used force to restrain and attempt to remove the victim from the location against her will. The Miami Gardens Police Department is actively working with the United States Marshals Fugitive Task Force to locate and apprehend Mr. Davis.
What's up, everybody? Marcos Villegas for Fight Up TV, and let's get straight into it because this is a serious and developing situation involving Gervonta Davis. So what exactly happened? According to law enforcement and court documentation, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Davis stemming from an alleged domestic violence incident that reportedly took place back in October in Miami Gardens, Florida. Police say the incident occurred at a gentleman's club where the alleged victim worked. The charges listed on the warrant are battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. As of now, authorities say that Gervonta has not turned himself in, which is a critical detail in how this case has unfolded. And this is where things change. Miami Gardens police confirmed they are working now with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to locate and arrest Gervonta Davis. This doesn't just happen automatically. When someone has an active warrant and law enforcement believes they may be difficult to locate, avoiding contact, or capable of crossing jurisdictions, U.S. Marshals are often brought in. For you guys wondering, what exactly do the U.S. Marshals do? I got you. They are the oldest federal law enforcement agency in the country, operating under the Department of Justice, and they specialize in the following: tracking and arresting fugitives, assisting with high-profile warrants, running joint task forces with local police, protecting federal court and judges.
Witnesses describe massive law enforcement presence at the location, with officers stationed on the steps and significant media coverage, showing just how serious this situation has become. Based on the victim's statement, the incident happened around 4 while she was at work when Gervonta Davis approached her. The victim claims Davis grabbed her by the back of the head and throat and forced her down a stairway toward a parking garage. She says once they got to the garage, he let her go and she was able to run back to her coworkers for help. The victim also reported knowing Davis since 2022 and that they had been in an intimate relationship for about 5 months. which ended roughly a month before this incident occurred. Authorities have confirmed that lead detective Gary Florencio examined surveillance footage that supposedly backs up major parts of the victim's story, a detail investigators are treating as highly significant.
Like a press conference, they got like DAs on the step, because I'm telling you, because you guys can't see it, right? They got police officers on the step, I'm assuming media, and because I hear people taking pictures and things like that, so paparazzi, just to announce this, which we'll get into.
According to the victim's statement, at approximately 4:15 a.m. while working, the victim was approached by Mr. Davis. The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other. He forcefully escorted her down a stairway and toward the parking garage while maintaining his grip on the back of her head. Upon reaching the parking garage, the victim reported that Mr. Davis released her, at which point she was able to run towards her co-workers for safety. The victim further reported that she has known Mr. Davis since 2022, and they were previously involved in an intimate relationship for approximately 5 months, which ended about a month prior to the incident. Lead detective Gary Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement.
Oh, so they got footage, I guess, some footage from the club. That's not good.
Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement. As a result of the diligent and hard work of our Special Victims Unit, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Bryant Davis on the following charges: battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. The investigation determined that Mr. Davis used force to restrain and attempt to remove the victim from the location against her will. At this time, the Miami Gardens Police Department is actively working with the United States Marshals Fugitive Task Force to locate and apprehend Mr. Davis. We are here.
Bro, what is going on? Like I'm gonna be real. On my channel, I keep it G. And in no way, shape, form, or fashion do I agree with assault or battery or these heinous type of charges. I have never condoned a man touching a woman in that way.
Sean Porter broke down what a comeback for Gervonta Davis might actually look like, and he's being brutally honest about which fights no longer make any sense. Porter thinks if Davis comes back around summertime, don't expect a rematch with Lamont Roach, especially after Roach's draw with Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Porter's calling out fighters for using inconsistent reasoning when talking about opponents. They'll hype up a win 1 minute, then hide behind styles make fights the next. He's not buying those excuses. What Porter really wants is for Davis to face whoever wins between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson at 140 pounds. He's making it clear that size shouldn't be an excuse since Davis has already competed at that weight. Porter also talked about legacy, saying even if Davis came back and lost against elite competition, just stepping up to that level would still earn him major respect.
If Tank were to come back 2020, who knows, in June, summertime, what you looking at Lamont Roach? Like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at?
I don't think he's going to fight him again.
Yeah.
Especially after the draw with Pitbull.
Yeah.
So I think that's like he can use that as an excuse, like, he can't even beat the guy that I beat, blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. The same thing, boxers kill me, because they'll say, on one hand, they'll say, he couldn't beat him and I beat him, and then they'll say, styles make fights. You know what I mean? It's all BS.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he's going to fight Lamont Roach. I think that he should be fighting the winner of Teofimo and Shakur. Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. At 140.
I think he has no excuse to not fight Shakur at 140 because of the size. I think he don't want to fight. I mean, he shouldn't have an excuse to fight Teo either. You went up to 140 years ago to fight Mario Barrios. So
what do you say about his legacy though? Like, let's say he does come back and it's Shakur or it's Teo, and let's say he possibly loses. Do you give him love for stepping up and getting in the ring with those guys, especially if he continue to move on and fight other guys at 140, big names at 140? Or do you say, hey, you were gone, trouble. You came back. You weren't who you used to be. You know, how do you look at the legacy if he come back against one of those guys? Those guys been active. He hasn't been.
People backing Gervonta Davis know he's going through one of the most challenging stretches of his entire career. Being a top-level athlete means dealing with pressure to perform at the highest level, plus handling intense public attention and personal responsibilities. Every fight, every interview, every social media move gets picked apart by fans and haters, so there's basically no margin for error. Outside the ring, Davis has to protect his reputation, keep his relationships intact, and deal with legal and professional problems that pop up out of nowhere. When you combine athletic pressure, public expectations, and private issues, it creates an incredibly stressful situation. The fans who stick with him get that boxing success comes with huge responsibility, and they see the mental and emotional strength it takes to stay focused when everything's crazy. Their loyalty gives him something solid to hold on to when the pressure gets overwhelming.
Now, Gervonta, you better have that same energy when you get into that ring for this rematch with Lamont. Because I'm getting so tired of hearing about these DV charges you keep catching. So apparently Gervonta Davis has been arrested for another DV case. I think this is about his third or fourth one now, probably more than that. To be honest, this don't really shock me. Because y'all remember when he was dating Ari and they had got into a real bad and he pulled her wig off in the middle of the street, right? That incident was all over the internet. And fast forward, there was another incident that happened back in 2022 with another baby mama, where she claims that she was in the car and things got really rough between them and she made a frantic call to 911, which she should not have made, she claims. And also said that Gervonta did not hurt her or her daughter. So why did you call the police? It's giving, I'm not mad no more, and at the end of the day, that's my baby daddy. So let me go ahead and scrap this up, clear up this rumor so nothing else goes any further with this. I really don't understand what be going on with men putting their hands on people. It's like, even if you want to give Gervonta the benefit of the doubt and say that he's innocent, when you got track record of 4 or 5 DV cases, all proven guilty, bro, it gets to a point. Don't you blow off enough steam in the ring? And this is really disappointing for Gervonta, because it's like, do you want to throw away your career? You're literally #1 right now. You've been #1. You probably will stay #1 as long as you keep doing what you're doing. Because as many people as he done fought, it seemed like Lamont Roach was his only real competition. He match on the way, by the way. Really big fight. He got to be there for that. I don't know what he's going through, and maybe it's just me, but I do feel like ever since that fight with Lamont Roach, he been off lately. He ain't been on social media as much. Now he going back to his ways like this. Somebody need to go check on that man. Y'all know what they say about boxers and the things that it does to the brain.
This isn't Gervonta Davis's first run-in with legal problems, and plenty of people think he needs to make serious changes to how he handles situations. His career has incredible accomplishments in the ring, but those often get overshadowed by ongoing controversies that grab public and media attention. This current situation is just another example of the problems he deals with outside of boxing. People keep bringing up what happened in 2022, right before his huge fight with Ryan Garcia. Davis was locked in preparing for one of the biggest fights of his career, but then legal issues suddenly appeared and took all the focus away from the actual fight. Fans and analysts were reminded that his personal choices directly impact his professional life, no matter how skilled he is as a fighter. A lot of people are now saying that for Davis to reach his full potential and protect his legacy, he has to focus on making smarter personal choices and staying away from repeated drama.
Transpired, I don't know any of the details. This is the information that is available to us as of this recording. So again, I'm saying unfortunate news because Tank Davis is scheduled to fight, and he's scheduled to fight in 11 days, and it's almost midnight my time, Pacific Standard Time. So that means really 10 days. Does this affect in any way? Will this affect Tank Davis and his fight? You know, I don't know. I don't know all the details, but we've seen stuff like this happen before in the past. And since it's so fresh, today being December 27th, I don't think it will impact or, you know, postpone his fight or anything like that, because it'll be too quick to go to trial or anything like that. However, some would wonder, could this affect him mentally, right? You left Mayweather Promotions, you're your own boss, doing your own thing. So this is your first foray into that. You have a difficult Olympian in terms of Hector Luis Garcia that you're getting ready to fight, a little bit taller and bigger than you. And, you know, now you have something in the background. This, I can't say is news to Gervonta Davis in terms of him having little run-ins, because he had a run-in with some type of vehicular hit and run.
or whatever the situation is. So he's had court cases before. We'll see how it all plays out. Again, I don't really have any additional details. Hopefully it doesn't affect the fight, and this is situated and the details come out in due course. You know, I don't really have nothing else to say other than that. Just want to give you guys the latest news, but Gervonta Davis was arrested, DV.
That wraps up today's coverage. Catch you next time.